What is up, guys? My name's the Simian. My name is Yen. I play The Sims. Did you see what I did there? Alright guys, in today's video we are going to be doing some speculation on the new DLC coming soon to The Sims 4, as well as some speculation on The Sims 5 and what is Maxis and EA planning and what is going to happen when The Sims 5 actually comes out and their mission statement. With that all being said, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions down below, and we are going to get right into it. So we do know with the recent Behind the Sims Summit, they actually ended up announcing that we had the new Chef Hustle stuff pack, in which we'll get into in just a second, and a new DLC, Get Busy, coming soon. Now, many people are speculating that Get Busy may have to do with some sort of neighborly expansion pack and that we're going to be getting a whole new city and downtown area. A lot of people think that it does involve real estate, but again, this was shortly after they released the new Chef Hustle Stuff Pack, in which Stuff Pack actually made a comeback and return. So a lot of people are thinking, will we be getting more? We'll have to stay tuned for that. But going back to the original topic, of course, it's called Embrace the Hustle and Bustle. Now, a lot of people are wondering, what could this mean? There was little keys, a little house on the side, and of course, many people saw the envelope and addresses, so many people automatically thought real estate. Now, it is interesting because a lot of sim gurus have been dropping hints saying redacted, y'all are not ready for this, redacted, so good. And again, this was shortly after the Sims team actually came out with the announcement of the new Chef Hustle, and some of this was previously before the whole, roadmap even came about. But again, SimGuru Nova said she didn't even work on this recent project, which is the Chef Hustle, so all the redacted is pointing towards DLC. Now, I do have a feeling that she is going to be working on the new DLC that's coming out later on this year, and I did want to mention that SimGuru Ash ended up stating, I'd also really love a world inspired by African cities and towns, so much variety and cool architecture there. Now, I don't think this world is going to be surrounded by African towns and cities. I do think they're going to go more on the street side, hinting SimGuru Ninja's post saying the mean streets. And again, it's just not uncommon for the Sims to drop little hints here and there, especially when they ended up responding back to one user in particular on TikTok with an eye emoji and a horse. Everyone was speculating we were going to get horses right after the Growing Together expansion pack, and lo and behold, we ended up getting that. Now, although Horse Branch was its own set of controversies, many people did believe that it should have been a game pack, while other horse lovers said that they got exactly what they expected and loved. Now, with that all being said, we are going to actually get into the speculations that I have regarding the new expansion pack. Now, again, we do see the addresses. Some people even translated the Simlish on the addresses, and many people thought that it was kind of interesting when they did the Behind the Sims Summit that they ended up mentioning the land grabs and quote-unquote real estate. So a lot of people are feeling that we are going to be getting not only a neighborhood world, but again, we are also going to be getting things that involve some sort of housing and apartments and townhomes and condos. And could this be it? Now, again, with this coming up, I do want to tell you that this is all pure speculation and I don't know how 100% this is, but we are actually going to get into it, and I'll thank the user Gamer Patton, and I'll leave the Twitter down below, and you can actually see these are codes that were found within the game. Now, again, we don't know exactly what this is for, and again, this is all pure speculation, but I did want to notice this one first. I wanted to go through this one first where it says tween complete, and you can see tween step complete. You can see it right under, where the line is drawn, and it says tween, change, tween change. It's all tween. And when you think tween, you think in between children and teen. And could this be a new life stage that's going to be coming soon? Now, if this was a new life stage coming soon, that would have been a perfect introduction when they did high school years. I feel like high school years would have been a perfect way to fit that whole middle school, high schooler, right in the cusp of, you're not yet a full-on teenager, but you are starting to go through puberty. That would have been a great game pack to come out. And again, they also had a missed opportunity, if this is going to be tweens, that they could have involved more around Growing Together. We do know Growing Together came with its own set of problems and missed opportunities, but they also ended up coming out with Infants. Now, Infants was actually brought into base game, but we all know, of course, all the extra DLC is behind a paywall. So again, if they were going to introduce another life stage as big as adding something like that to The Sims, it should have been technically, for me, when they did the whole Infants, or if not, high school years. But again, that's all pure speculation. But I do think when they why have the word tween inside the code in the game? What are they planning? And if they do, but what does tween actually involve when it comes down to real estate, and how does that correlate? Again, this was all questions that I had, and maybe they are going to be doing a new life stage, and maybe it does have to do with real estate and it's going to be more community based. They did also mention mentioned a more neighborly neighborhood. So again, that is all in question as well. And maybe they're actually bringing on more life stages to the game with this neighborhood in particular. Again, this is all pure speculation and I don't know for sure, but again, it would be interesting to know your comments and opinions because again, this is a code that's already inside the game. Now, with this next one, it's going to be more of a speculation regarding Behind the Sims Summit where they bring up The Sims 5. Now, again, a lot of people are on edge with The Sims 5 because of the recent statements that they've made, but again, I want you guys to take a look. And now this is a code that was found within the game. I'm going to read it really quick, and of course, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions. It goes on to say, all things have been going exceptionally well for the Sims studio. Having launched our title Sims Forever nearly 5 years ago, fans of the game are clamoring for something new though, and we're getting to work on yet another expansion pack for the Sim9 title. Can you help take Sims Forever to the next level? We need to outsource icon art to someone who's proficient at visualizing moodlets, headlines, whims, traits, aspirations, and more with minimal guidance. Get in the game. Icons for Sims Forever. We're a hot new Silicon Valley startup and we need to make a splash with an eye-grabbing professional logo before raising further capital in our Series B funding round. Look, don't get bogged down in the details. This is simply a job, and don't even think about asking to get paid in stock grants. Fat chance we'll give an artist equity before our eventual record-smashing IPO. You give us a hot logo, we'll give you simoleons. Silicon Valley startup logo. Now, with that all being said, there is a lot of questions that goes on with that. Now, again, this was a code that was actually found within the game. I want you guys to I want to emphasize that a little bit because this is the part where it starts to get confusing and what exactly this means. Now, I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from, so I'm going to take it back for just a second. But I want to talk about Project Olympus. Now, Olympus was an early prototype of The Sims 4 that was designed primarily as an online multiplayer experience, similar to The Sims Online and The Sims Social. Development was started in 2008, but the project was refactored late into development as an offline single-player only title that was released as, of course, The Sims 4. EA made an announcement about it, and then lo and behold, September 2nd, 2014, the launch came about where The Sims 4 was now released to millions of players and, of course, followed along with more DLCs added till this very day. Now, where am I going with all of this? Just give me a second. I did want to mention this note that I read on Reddit, and it said, you have to note that making a game as complex as The Sims is difficult and time-consuming. Then it does go on to say that especially when using an engine that wasn't designed for it, time is an important factor as well. Maxis worked on The Sims 3 for at least 3 years with a larger team than The Sims 4, and they made the engine with the game in mind. Yet EA gave them only 2 years to make The Sims 4 on an engine that was designed solely for only an online play and with a smaller team. Now, I do find this interesting because I want to keep reading and let you guys know a little question that I did have. And one of the Reddits ended up saying, EA states that adding an offline mode is impossible since the engine isn't designed for it. A modder finds out that it is impossible for there to be an offline mode provided a mechanism is added to make saves on the drive rather than saved on the cloud. So EA Axis, under all the pressure, releases Update 10, which adds an offline mode to the game. The fiasco didn't end there. The area available to build was too limited for offline play, and multiple bugs didn't been fixed. EA Maxis, when they say EA Axis, it's EA and Maxis, I always get that confused for a second, made an expansion pack to the game in late November to help with the limited building area, but it didn't help that much. All of this ultimately resulted in SimCity falling behind every other game in the franchise in reviews and scores. The game market's performance was awful, and EA closed Maxis Emeryville, the studio that built the game. Now, later that year, Sims VP received an anonymous email that included a site made by Maxis employee Patrick Kelly. It featured flash mockups that explored mostly UI design, including chat boxes. It also explored some gameplay features, mechanics such as a romance skill, a new system of interactions that replaced the typical The Sims 1, 2, and 3 interaction system. It was based on an individual's social skills that you could level up to unlock more interactions for that skill. There were some screenshots too. One of them included 2 plumb bobs together. One was green and bigger, while the other one was smaller and blue. In The Sims 3, 2, and 1, the blue plumb bob would appear on top of the Sims you made a group with, so it's a sign of social gathering. Now, this all got me questioning and thinking, now this could be The Sims Forever, within the game, and I'll get into that in just a second, but it did have me thinking about all of the different, rebrands and reworks that The Sims 4 has been trying to do. Are they trying to keep up with that code specifically? Again, they've had multiple evolutions of The Sims 4, and again, this is all thanks to the simscommunity.info, where we get a little bit more detail on exactly what is going on regarding how much the game has changed and rebranded as we all know and love it. From the 2014 all the way to 2022, the game has had multiple different rebrands, and it's almost as if they're trying to keep up, but keep up with what? And then the code came to mind. Now again, this is all 110% speculation, and I've tried to do as much research as I can on it, but again, I'm still a little bit confused, but this is why I'm bringing it up, because I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on if this is going to affect The Sims 5. Now, I do find all of this interesting, but if you go into the game, you can, there's a game within the Sims game called Sims Forever. But again, what did they exactly mean by this? Was this something that they were trying to keep up with when it came down to The Sims 4 but couldn't do that, so now they're releasing it to The Sims 5? Now again, they talked very detailed about certain interactions, and then that Reddit ended up mentioning a lot more things, so I'm like, what is going on with Project Rene? They did say that they're gonna coexist with other Sims games alongside, of course, The Sims 4. So again, Sims 5 is gonna be its own separate entity, but also it's going to involve what could have been what The Sims 4's potential could have been, but then the engine wasn't like enough. I don't know. This whole thing was very confusing, and again, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on, with all of that, what do you expect The Sims 5 will be? Now again, I do want to like say this over and over that this is 110% speculation, but the codes that were in the game were in there. So I want to know, like, what are your thoughts and opinions? Because again, I'm trying to do more research. As I'm doing more research, I will, bring out more information to you guys. But this is something that I thought would be very interesting for you guys to take a look at, and that we could all deep dive and talk about it. Now, again, with all that being said, again, I want to say it's 100% speculation, and I would love to know your thoughts and opinions. And again, thank you guys so much. We are on the road to 30K. And whether you watch my videos, you comment on my videos, you're a silent viewer, or you like my videos, which truly does help out my channel, you still show my channel some support in some shape, way, or form. With that all being said, again, thank y'all so much for all the love, and I will see you guys all in the very next video. Bye!